Part of what I love about worship, especially in the midst of this church and this congregation, is the fact that we have many different styles that you can worship. One of those is obviously our traditional services at 8:45 and 11, but another really special service that's near and dear to my heart is the contemporary service. And part of what I love about contemporary worship is the feel. The fact that it feels very different, that there's a different kind of comfort level in that space that I think is nurtured kind of by the setting and the music and hopefully the preaching and scripture and the other creative elements that we add. It feels like you can be completely keyed in with what God is doing and how God is moving in the room. I don't know about everybody else, but part of what makes the room being so dark and kind of the way that we are set up in there, what makes that feel different is that you can really have this one-on-one experience with God. You can be focused on that and not kind of distracted by all of the things that are happening. But as we are kind of exploring the future and what is going to be happening in the midst of our church, we want to try something new. And so what we want to do throughout the season of Advent is really live into what it means to be a contemporary worship service in a contemporary worship space, kind of fully living into that vision of something a little more modern. So what we are going to be doing is learning how to live fully in the moment. Instead of kind of knowing exactly what's coming and having a schedule and ideas of that it's the same exact thing every week. We want to be able to mix it up a little bit, and we want to be able for the congregation to be experiencing it with us so that they're not concerned about what's where and what's happening. So the beginning of December, we are going to be moving towards a weekly newsletter that's going to have all of your weekly announcements that you get in your current bulletin. It's going to have a welcome for our visitors, some information about childcare, other things that will be helpful to people who are visiting our church for the very first time. But we are actually going to take away the formal bulletin that we have right now and try to live a little differently during this season as we expect the coming of the Christ child. Part of the way that we understand what worship is and how it happens is we want it to be an experience for you. We want it to be something that you can be fully engaged in, that you can be consumed in the moment and just fully focused on what God is doing in your life and in this time and in this place that you may not have expected when you walked in the door. And so part of the way that that happens in contemporary is by us kind of leading and guiding you as we go. Whether that's Jeff or somebody on the worship team, whether that is someone reading scripture, whether that is whoever is preaching that Sunday, kind of helping you to live in the moment so that you can respond to the prompting of the Spirit, so that we're not constrained to what we do every single week, but have a little more fluidity to how that happens and what that feels like. Our contemporary worship service happens at 11 o'clock on Sundays, and we would love to have anybody and everybody that wants to come and be a part of our church and especially this worshiping community.